So we've talked about scheduling, planning, how we really make time for this, how we look at each other's plates, and how we recognize when I can't add something, I've got to reach out. I've got to ask for help, right? And then celebrating the success of those people, really pointing out the good. That's so important as we're building these connections, as we're building our team to walk this journey called life with. And then the final thing is when we're talking about not doing life alone, and how, whether you're finding an accountability partner or you have an accountability partner, the importance of communication.
Yeah, talk it out. You have to have that open communication, and you have to feel that confidence in that person that you're talking to be able to humbly say, listen, this is what I'm scared about. This is what I'm not good at. I need help in this area. And then also tell them, hey, I'm really good at X, Y, and Z. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not being cocky. That's not being arrogant. That's being confident in who you are as a person. And so being able to communicate effectively, honestly, with whoever's in your circle is crucial. It's so important. It's the foundation to having that close circle of accountability partners, and it's also how you're going to make each other better. I mean, if I were out there wrestling, I would say I'm not very good at escaping. I can take you down, I can probably pin you, but if you get my back, I need help with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. If I'm running the New York City Marathon, I'm going to say, I didn't train as properly as I could, Hope and Pam.
I was scared to death during this thing. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to finish.
And she always said that. But then on our end, we said, if you say that one more time, Hope, we didn't know what we were going to do because we wanted her to do it. But do not say that one more time. And she stopped. And so there's two parts in that. Yes, being open and communicating. I don't know how I'm going to finish this. It's going to be so hard. But on the other end, we were saying, we weren't cheering her on. We weren't celebrating that. We were saying, shut up. You're going to do this and you're going to finish it.
Sometimes
and it's going to be fine.
Hard truths.
Right. And so being able to communicate effectively in love with whoever you're talking with, whoever's in your circle, is very important, especially when you're not trying to finish the race alone.
Yeah. And if you're always looking for people who are going to tell you what you want to hear, again, you have the wrong accountability partner. You've got to find the people who will communicate the things that you want to hear, and most importantly, the things that you don't want to hear. That's what's going to challenge you. That's what's going to grow you. And, communication is so important. I remember we were learning from Bob Goff at our last virtual conference, and he said, take somebody out for coffee. Right? Take your friend, take your accountability partner
5
out
minutes.
for coffee.
Yep.
Make them buy, he said. But he said, sit down for 5 minutes and say to them, tell me all of what's stressing you out. Yep. What's your fears? What are all the negative things that we're either afraid to say or that we feel like are not acceptable to say, or, I shouldn't say that because it makes me weak. And he said, and then you do the same. And, I think that we have got to normalize communication. And I'm talking about real talk, right? I'm not talking about just, the things that we say to make ourselves appear to have it all together, or appear like we're strong, or appear like nothing phases us. Because that's a load of bull. Like nobody is like that. And so normalizing real talk, right? Real feelings, real emotions, because when you're able to name those things, when you're able to have conversations about them, that's where change and growth starts to occur. But the problem is that we're not communicating. We're not actually communicating to one another. We're just we're afraid of what other people might think about what we say, or what they might think about how we feel. And so finding those people in your life that you can be authentic with, you can have the real talk with, you can, like Wade said, communicate all of those things. Because when you're talking about mental health, and I'm talking about me specifically, I'm not an expert and I'm not trying to speak as an expert. But for me, if I bottle all of those fears up inside, that's when I start having anxiety. That's when I start feeling stressed out. That's when I start feeling like I'm going to have a panic attack. When I'm able to vocalize those things, and it took me a long time to even be able to tell Wade, share with him, now I'm like, I'm feeling anxious. I feel like I'm going to have a panic. It took me a long time to be able to say that to even my husband. But we've got to normalize the good. We do. I feel like we do normalize the good. We've got to normalize the bad and the ugly.
Yeah, and
in our communication.
Yeah, and when you have those people who you feel like you can communicate that way with, whoever you are, if you're on the other end, if you're the one doing the communication and you're the one being honest and truthful with that person, you need to make sure that you understand how you honor that situation. That is not your opportunity to go to that person and tell them everything that's wrong with that person. You need to speak with love, you need, obviously with truth, but you need to understand what type of person that is and how you're going to come at that situation and whatever it is, because never ever do you want to turn that person away. Hard truths are hard truths, but they can be said with love, with understanding, and with compassion, and with honor. That's not your opportunity to go in on somebody. That's not what we're saying here. We're saying you need to be honorable, you need to be loving, and you need to be truthful with whoever you're communicating with.